Hi, I am Lady, and I'm going to talk about toys. Today I brought you Princess Tenko. This is one of my childhood toys. I had most of this collection by choice, actually. I wasn't excited about completing this one because some of the characters I just didn't give a shit about, as you do. I know you're thinking right now, like, she does not look that interesting, Lady. This is a black-haired chick in a jumpsuit, but I assure you it gets better. You'll notice she's got some hat hair happening there, and you will see why in a moment. Let me go over just like some basic stuff about Tenko. First off, like, check out, okay, her bangs are like shellacked to her face, so I can't move them really, but she's got that kind of like triangular point thing happening there. Some extensive blue eyeshadow. I love the color of her lips. I don't like, why am I obsessed with that, but I really enjoy it. Her head swivels properly, up, down, side to side, the whole shebang. Arms are just basic, up and back. No side to side motion, unfortunately. Her legs, however, have some nice motion, which I remember being very excited about as a child. Imagine if I had had knee joints or wrist joints. I lost my mind for wrist joints as an 8-year-old. It would have been intense. So Princess Tenko is from Princess Tenko and the Guardians of the Magic, which was part of like a 90s trend of Princess So-and-so and the Whoever's. See also Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders, which I was also a fan of. I liked the 90s princesses because they were like the leader of her group of people who kick ass. There was no like frothy pink bullshit ball gowns to deal with. It was all, I'm gonna put on my magical outfit and go beat some fools. I was into that. Sailor Moon was a similar kind of thing. Which, I mean, it was Princess Serenity and the Sailor Senshi, just not labeled that way explicitly. But it was still the same setup. So Tenko, as we're seeing here in this super basic doll. What's up, police siren? It's great. I'm just going to continue forward. Nothing's happening. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. So the gimmick with Princess Tenko is that she has this magical outfit that, of course, she can transform into something cool. And she is tangled. And her gimmick with it is that everything is magical. Princess Tenko is a real person who is actually a real magician. Magic here in the 90s means magnets. So this shit just stays. And we're good. And she's on. She comes with a hat, which is not magnetic. And I'm thinking, like, why? You've wasted an opportunity here, especially because now she has 20-year-old hat head that I'm never going to be able to undo. Get this hat on here. I do like that I like that they mimicked the shape of her bangs with the hat. And this is true on every version of Tenko. They all have the same hat shape. That's what I mean. There were 3 versions of Tenko. This one that we're looking at is the Sapphire Dolphin. We know this because she has a little gem with a freaking dolphin on it that magically magnetizes to the front of her. It's incredible. It's the 90s. So Sapphire Dolphin here was accompanied by Rose Eagle and Golden Lion. Golden Lion was covered in like 90s fake fur to the max. Like, there's barely any doll there. It's just fur everywhere. That fur was also used on her pet snow leopard. Because what else would you have a pet be in the 90s but a snow leopard? Actually, I take that back. Your pet is a horse. There is no 90s girl franchise without a horse. Preferably a unicorn or at least a Pegasus. There is a Pegasus in Princess Tenko. I have it, but it's not very interestingly constructed. The Pegasusness is just kind of some bunched up fabric that you Velcro around the center. Not super great. But she did have friends. This is Shonti. She has the same gimmick going on here. Let's put Tenko down. It's literally same. I'm not taking her hat off because those things are a pain in the ass. But that just sticks on there. The gem is the same kind of shtick. Bam. Her gem is the aforementioned snow leopard, which I also brought because it is arguably one of my favorite toys. This is Ninjara. Ninjara, again, we're going for a thematic thing here. This is magnetic. This is magnetic. The necklace is not magnetic, but I'm not taking it off because it's just a necklace. And actually, I'm concerned that the fabric, string, something there is kind of weak. And I don't want to irritate it by yanking it over her head, even though, I mean, it clearly fits. But she's one of my favorite toys. She doesn't do anything. I mean, there's no jointing or movement or anything. She's just hollow plastic, but she just looks so damn cool. I remember being obsessed with her as a kid. My best friend got her first. This is the same best friend I had, like, the weird animosity relationship with the fairies with in the last video. And I was enchanted with this thing when she had it, and I needed to obtain it. It was bad. I put this gem on here. I just found this gem, like, this past May in my mother's house. Like, how I've managed to hold on to this tiny thing that is, like, no bigger than a fingernail for this long, I don't know. And what? Oh, it's the polarity. I have fucked up the polarity of the neutron flow. There we go. It was kind of standing on end, but yeah, there we go. The horse has the same sort of thing. She's got a little headpiece and a gem that sits on top of that, and then these terrible wings. I didn't bring her because she's, like I said, just not very interesting. They had a television show that went along with this, but it aired at approximately ass o'clock in the morning. I very rarely woke up to see the entire thing. I would always catch like 15 minutes of it, like the last half of the show. But at the end of the show, the real Princess Tenko, the actual Japanese musician, would show up and do a thing. And you'd see some real magic stuff. The other thing that these all came with, which is, like, again, not pictured in this film, they're over there, but the setup is annoying considering the payoff. Each of these toys came with a magic trick that you could do to amaze all of the friends that you surely had. One of them, to give you an idea of, like, what they're about, just pop her on here. That'll be easiest. Let's do that. One of them was a box with these two gems in it. They were gems just like these, the same. Way to go, lady. Same shape, but they were just solid red plastic. There were no magnets or anything else in them. And before the show, you would take one of the gems and stick it to the underside of the lid of the box with this, like, post-it note quality adhesive. Then close the box and present the box and the other gem to a friend and be like, look, I'm going to put this gem through this box. So you put the gem on top of the box and you cover the top of the box with this card that comes with, like, Princess Tenko's name on it and a bunch of other fancy bullshit. Put the card over there and then you tap the whole thing against the table. The adhesive is not strong enough to hold the gem from the inside, and so it falls into the box. The adhesive that's secretly on the other side of the card you have picks up the other gem, so when you pick the card away, there's no gem left on the top, and oh my, you've penetrated the box with this gem. All the tricks were like that. Like, they required a little bit of weird setup beforehand. There was a rope trick where you looped the ropes around each other, but they looked like a single rope, and then you managed to just pull it and it passed through the box, and it was miraculous. There was a third trick, at least, because there are 3 Princess Tenko dolls. I don't remember what the third one was. I might still have, like, the papers that tell you what it was, but I don't remember. I also don't remember if her friends came with any magic tricks. I will have to look that up. What I did look up, though, was that these dolls were actually based on, or came from, or derived from, a line of Wonder Woman toys that never quite got off the ground. They were trying to kind of aim Wonder Woman toward, like, sparkly Supergirl kind of people. They were called Wonder Woman and the Star Riders. Yes. Pictures for this include, like, Wonder Woman on top of a giant Pegasus unicorn and all that kind of stuff. The toy line was canceled and never used, but some of the designs and things were carried over into Princess Tenko. Like, you can see influences here that are in the prototype toys. This is this is also some of that same fake fur that the golden lion Tenko doll possesses, and it's just about that same height, but like in every direction. She's just like a solid wall of fur. It actually makes her outfit really difficult to get on, which is one of the reasons that I didn't choose her for this. But one of my, because this is how I do these videos, one of my like extreme childhood memories of these is that they were about the same size as Princess Guinevere dolls, so they could share clothes. And at the time, I was really obsessed with ancient Egypt. And to me, like, pretty doll with black hair was enough. That could be Egypt. At that point, I actually did not have this one. She would have been the clear choice. But I chose Tenko instead. I don't remember whether it was Sapphire Dolphin or either of the other two. I think it would have been Sapphire Dolphin because of her blue eyeshadow. The others all have eyeshadow that matches their relative theme. And in my mind, like, blue eyeshadow was a step towards Egyptian. So I traded out her outfit, which, okay, which, I mean, you can see is just this jumpsuit thing, for the long green dress that came with Tamara from Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders. I'm getting my princesses crossed. This is a problem. And Tamara had this kind of like corset piece. It was a bit of a diamond shape that went around her waist, and I thought, okay, this is good for the kind of spiked crown thing from being a pharaoh of at least half of Egypt. So I put it on Tenko's head, and she became the pharaoh who ruled the Egypt that was like the chunk of our elementary school playground. Our elementary school playground was a parking lot. Yeah. But there was this big stone wall all around the bottom of it because we were on an angle, so they had to like build up some earth to make a level area. And under one of these rocks, I can't make her stand up. We're not even gonna try. So there's like a whole line of rocks, and like underneath one of them, there's ground here and kind of grass coming down here. And there was just enough of a hole there that we could kind of store things. And so that immediately became like a tomb. And we like stored weird secret notes in there, which we wrote in hieroglyphs. And we stored like shiny rocks and the kind of shit that you pick up when you're in 4th grade. So we had all this stuff in there, and then like she was the ruler of it. And I think we split it up. We decided that, you know, okay, one of us is the pharaoh of Upper Egypt and one of us is the pharaoh of Lower Egypt, and then we can share. So that was how we split that. Because otherwise we just couldn't do it. One of us just couldn't be the pharaoh. That was not done. So it was Pharaoh Tenko. Because, you know, Japanese, Egyptian, doesn't matter. As long as you're wearing the hat and you got black hair, you're sold. So, you know, there we are. We're in 4th grade. And we're doing our thing over there. We bring out like books. And we're like mummifying things, not real things, not like there's no dead chipmunks involved or anything, but it was like we're mummifying things like an effigy. Like we had this cat bead, and we ended up wrapping it in a bunch of toilet paper and covering it with other beads and using marker to dye things, and we made it a death mask and all kinds of shit, and we left it in there, and it stayed relatively intact. Like we would worry all weekend if it rained, and then we would come back on Monday and check it out and everything would be fine. We covered the tomb with special rocks and tried to make it look like real innocuous, you know, whatever. In the end, what happened was that the other kids began to suspect that we were worshiping Satan. This is a real thing that happened to me. We were operating an oracle out of the coat room using some old perfume that I had gotten from my grandmother and some natron salt that some other girl had in her kitchen that she gave to me. So after we were mummifying things in effigy and pretending to tell the future in the coat room with some stinky perfume, the other kids decided to like tell on us, even though we weren't really doing anything wrong. We were just doing the dumb shit that weird kids do. I was the weird kid who brought a video of actual mummification to a slumber party. So I want to say I was that kid, but I don't think there is a that kid. You know, there aren't kids who do that, except me apparently. Anyway, so they had to have like this giant like fourth grade intervention because this girl and I had apparently been summoning Satan on the playground with Princess Tenko and some beads wrapped in toilet paper and notes written in hieroglyphs that no one could read. And then it was like a while before the other kids trusted us or didn't like make the sign of the cross as they walked past us. We were not a religiously affiliated elementary school. I just want to point that out. It was just kind of the area we lived in, and we were too strange for people. And so what is quickly becoming the motto of this series: if you don't have any real friends, plastic ones will do.